Hi guys, my name's Bill, and in this video I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot this Whirlpool side-by-side refrigerator that is not cooling at all. I'm talking the freezer's not freezing, the refrigerator's not getting cooled. You may have a puddle of water on the floor in front of the refrigerator from the ice melting, and you don't hear any sounds at all coming from your refrigerator. So let me show you how to troubleshoot it. Okay, so when you run into your refrigerator not cooling at all, the first thing you want to do is make sure that the outlet the refrigerator is plugged into has power. So if you have one of these, you can go ahead and plug it in. I have two orange lights, no red light. That means this outlet has power. If you don't have one of those, let me show you how to check it with a voltmeter. Okay, so what I got here is my voltmeter is set on volts AC. And I'm going to go ahead and stick my leads into both of these slotted terminals on the outlet. I'm going to get 120. Now if I take the meter lead out of the bigger slot, out of the neutral, and stick it into the ground, I should also read 120 volts. So from hot to ground, hot to ground, 120. And from hot to neutral, 120. So we're 100% sure that this outlet has power. Alright, so if you found you had no power at the outlet and you went down and you reset the breaker to the refrigerator and now it came back on and started cooling, good to go. You might be just fine. I would, however, look into maybe having that breaker replaced because it could be going bad, and they do that over time, just a fact of life. Now, the reason I had to check for power, because a lot of times I've gone out and done service calls on refrigerators and there's not a single light bulb in the refrigerator that works. Like this one here, you open it up and it's completely quiet. You don't know if it's on or off, if it has power or not, because none of the bulbs are working. This bulb down here is blown out. Now I did unscrew this one, but now if I were to open up the door and of course see the lights on, it's a pretty safe bet to say that the outlet does have power, and you wouldn't need to check to make sure it has power. But if you don't have any light bulbs, you definitely want to check for power. Now, aside from your refrigerator not having power, and that's the reason why it's not cooling at all, probably the second most common reason would be because it's stuck in defrost. Now, every 8 hours, the defrost timer will spin around. The machine will cool, cycle on and off like it's supposed to for about 8 hours. And then there's a 30-minute window, like clockwork, that the machine shuts off. The fan and the compressor, they will completely shut off, and the defrost heater will come on. But what happens is the timer never comes out of defrost. For whatever reason, that's when they like to quit. So it never comes out of the defrost, so the compressor and the fan never kick back on. And how you check that is first you locate the defrost timer, which in this machine here is right up behind this little panel. And if you look up inside, you can see the dial. So you're just going to take a flathead screwdriver, stick it up inside the hole, rotate it clockwise, and it's possible that your machine will come on at that point. Okay, so we can see on this machine here, it's completely quiet. The fan's not spinning. Right there's the evaporator fan. I don't hear the compressor running, nothing's going on, so I'm going to put my flathead screwdriver inside the hole here for the defrost timer, and I'm just going to spin it clockwise. And now everything came on, and now the machine's running. If you find that that's your problem, you definitely want to replace the defrost timer, because it's going to happen again. Now that you've taken it out of defrost, it's never going to go into defrost, so you're going to have a defrost issue like I covered before. Okay, so moving right along with the troubleshooting, your outlet has power, it's not stuck in defrost, and the machine is still not doing anything at all. The last thing you're going to check is the thermostat, and it works like a switch. It turns on and off depending on temperature. So if the refrigerator compartment's as cold as it needs to be, that switch will open up and it will break the circuit to the compressor and the evaporator fan. Now, when the refrigerator warms up, that switch will close and allow the compressor and the fan to run. So we're going to check that. Let me show you how to do it. And that's going to be behind this panel right here. The freezer control just controls the amount of air that comes from the freezer to the refrigerator compartment. The only thing that can actually detect temperature is the refrigerator control. So that's what we're going to check. So I'm going to show you how to get into that real quick. You need a 1/4 inch nut driver and a flathead screwdriver. So we're going to pop the knobs off. And you do want to unplug the refrigerator from the wall at this point. My machine's still running. take out these 2 screws. And there's 2 screws up underneath. Go ahead and take those out. I got 1 more on the other side. Okay, so here's a good look at our refrigerator thermostat, or cold control, whatever you want to call it. Now to test this, we're going to go ahead and remove the 2 wires that are plugged onto it. Remember, I said this acts like a switch. It's either open or closed. And I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the knob here, if I can get this on. And straight up and down, it's in the factory position. So if I turn this all the way around, it's in the off position. So that means there's going to be nothing flowing between those 2 terminals. Now as soon as I turn this on, then the switch is going to close and the refrigerator is going to try to get cold, because the cold control is calling for cold. So let me hook it up to the voltmeter, set my meter to ohms, and show you what that looks like on the meter. Okay, so I got my voltmeter connected to the 2 terminals that come off of the cool control. Right now the refrigerator's in the off position. That's turned all the way to the left, and we're set on ohms. So right now we have out of limits rating, which means no electricity can pass from one terminal to the other. So if this was on the machine right now, the compressor and the evaporator fan would not be running. Now as soon as I turn this on, we get to 0.1, 0.2, whatever. It's going to say 0.4. But that means there's a closed circuit. Now voltage can pass, basically from one terminal to the other and allow the compressor and the fan to run. Now if you get the OL reading when you turn this thermostat on and it's warm, it's not below 36, 38 degrees, and you get the OL reading when it's on, then you have a bad thermostat and you should replace it. And when you do, your refrigerator is going to start getting cold again. Okay, so if you tested that you had a bad thermostat or cool control and you replaced it, your refrigerator should work. But what happens if you test the thermostat or the cool control and it tests good, but your refrigerator is still not working? So we've tested, we made sure we had power, we made sure it was not in defrost, and we checked the cool control, but you still have nothing. No compressor, no evaporator fan. So what do you do now? You have to replace the defrost timer, because the power goes through the cold control over to the defrost timer, and that's the last switch in place to send the power to the evaporator fan and the compressor. So if you've checked everything out and it's good, as far as what I've gone through so far, you're going to have to replace the defrost timer. There could be a burned up contact or something like that inside of it, and it's not letting the voltage get to the compressor and the evaporator fan. Okay guys, so that's how you troubleshoot a Whirlpool side-by-side refrigerator that is not doing anything at all. So you went through the power, you went through the stuck in defrost or not, you made sure the cool control was working, and if you checked all that and they all tested good, then you replace the defrost timer, you are good to go. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that now. And of course, thanks for watching.